And this is the shit we get. EA, you can ban me if you want. But you know that this is not acceptable. Yo, what's going on, guys? Superfly here, bringing you a new video. Today we're talking about FC26 beta. And before I start, I just got to say that EA do not want anyone speaking about their beta, only in their forums, beta channel. And I'm going to do it here. So there's a good chance I could get banned from EA if they do see this. But you guys and the Pro Clubs community need to know what is actually happening, especially with the goalkeeper position is what we're going to talk about today. I got to tell you, it is the worst it's ever been. If you can think of any time in FIFA or FC history where goalkeeper has felt bad, this knocks it out of the water. It's the worst. It is almost unplayable. No, in fact, it is unplayable. I would rather FC25 over this. This is the worst. You could probably make one save out of 10 shots. And even when you make that save, you're like, it doesn't feel good. You're not sure if you're actually going to make the save. There's no confidence there. Every time there's an attacker, you're just thinking this is a goal. In Rush and clubs, there is the goals that are being scored and the score lines are 9-0, 8-9, 10 all. Like, they're crazy. It's almost a goal every single time they attack. That's just how bad goalkeepers are as like a package. And EA, if you are watching this, I don't want to get banned, but I feel like my community and the Pro Clubs community needs to know the truth. And you guys have misled with your marketing campaign, saying that you've heard us from our feedback, especially mine, and you are focusing on the gameplay, what you should have done last year and years before, and you're finally listening. I cannot comment on playing outfield or ultimate team. It's probably great, but for goalkeeper, it's the worst. You've added stupid animations. You've added great things to goalkeepers, but unfortunately, you have not executed it correctly. And I'm going to talk about some of those features now. I've already made a EA forum post in the closed beta section on their website. It is also on my community posts on YouTube. If you have got access to the beta, you can click the link. I will also put the link in the description and in the comments of this video, where you can go over, read it, and reply or comment with your own feedbacks within that post. Again, you can only access this if you have access to the beta. I have played about 40 games on the beta already, and first off, the overhaul of the game, of the UI, not in the game, just in general, it's kind of like FC25. It's a little bit confusing, of course, that's expected, but your stats to build your player up, they are really low. Like, I mean, really, really low. And before anyone says, maybe the goalkeeper doesn't feel great because your stats are low, this isn't because of a stat problem. When you're playing the game, it is not related to how your player is overall, because you're up against players who are the same rating as you, but they are kicking the ball into the net and playing like they are 99 rated. You can't save anything. You're basically just a mannequin in that goal. That's all you are. You have no chance of making saves. Your match rating doesn't even get above 6 sometimes because of how bad it is. And it's going to take you a very long time to level up. So some of the stats that you need to level up is like agility, for instance. You need to get that to level 80 to give you far reach playstyle or one of the other playstyles. You need to get it up to 80. Sorry, that's my phone. You need to get it up to 80 rated, and you start at like 60. And to get it from 60 to 80 is like 150 points, which is a lot when you could be putting those into other things that actually matter for your goalkeeper. At the time of recording now, my goalkeeper's reactions and dive-in is on about 87, and I feel just as bad as what I did when I started, and it was in the 70s. It is really bad, okay? That's like a broad picture of the goalkeeping in terms of leveling up. It's too long. Obviously, you got the boosts that you can access eventually. Maybe they might give more match XP and things like that in the proper game. But that's just a little summary of the leveling up aspect. It's too long to get there. I don't mind the grind. I think the grind would be great. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But in terms of goalkeeping and trying to compete alongside your opponents, you are at a huge disadvantage just off the stats alone. Because when the attackers strike the ball, it's coming at you at like 100 miles an hour. I think it needs a little bit of tweak in there just to try and maybe give the goalkeepers a little bit of a boost in terms of they don't start so far down. But if not, I actually don't mind the grind. I think it's okay. But it will be a struggle if you want to power through, and you're going to concede a lot of goals. Now, moving on to some of the problems that I've that we have faced, or that I've faced, is animations. When you're making saves, it is so delayed. A shot will be coming at you and you're flicking the stick and your goalkeeper has no input visual on screen, like you're going to even attempt to make a save. The ball will just fly in the net and then your keeper will make the save. It's even worse than last year with delay and reaction times. It's so bad. The save on demand using RB or R1, again, huge delay. Yes, you pull off a save when you flick it, but when there's a shot coming as well directly at you, it has some sort of like coding delay where it prioritizes the shot over the dive. That's what it feels like. So yes, you can save on demand if you really want to, but when it's needed, it doesn't seem to be as effective as what you would think it would. Then we got the UI shot indicator, where when you select which way you want to dive, you have a yellow ring around your goalkeeper to show which way you're going to be diving. And if it goes red, in my previous videos, I said I think it's because they are shooting in the other direction. Well, even if you dive the right way in a good position and you do everything perfect, the indicator still goes red and you still sometimes save it. And the indicator, again, you could do everything great, be in a good position, dive at the right time, and it'll go yellow and you'll concede. There's no consistency. Nobody really knows what this new UI shot indicator means. Why does it go red when you're flicking in the right direction? And why does it not sometimes? It has no bearing in terms of what it does to help you. I still don't know really. And I've played 40 games and I've been trying every game to just study it. I don't have a clue. I really do not have a clue why it is there and what it's meant to do. The rushing out with Y. So you can no longer make saves with Y anymore by spamming Y. So all you guys who are spamming Y or triangle to make saves, that is out of the game. And I'm glad it's out of the game. But when you're holding Y to come out to rush for a ball, your keeper comes out in such weird animation, like he doesn't really know why he's coming out for. He's just running. And when you get to the ball, there is no intent there in terms of diving on the ball with good animations. Yes, they introduced the new diving systems that you can do again on demand by pressing B on Xbox or circle on PlayStation, square or X on PlayStation and Xbox to do different dives. And we'll touch that in a minute. But when you rush out, your goalkeeper doesn't feel like he knows what he's doing. When crosses come into the box, again, you can't hold Y anymore to rush out to try and intercept the cross. You have to manually run your player to the area where the ball's going. A lot of you may say that's good, keeping it manual and with a skill gap. And I always wanted a skill gap as a goalkeeper. I think it's the best way to go down. But this is just too much. When a cross is coming in and you've got so much you have to think about in terms of, is that striker going to shoot or is he going to pass? Is he going to cross it to back post? There's so many things you have to think about. And to add then into that you, if it is a cross, you have to run to that area and try and get the ball. And then when you get there, you still can't press Y. You have to press X or square or circle or B to punch or catch it. And it isn't that easy to do because, as you know, when you're not locked onto the ball, your goalkeeper or your player can run in certain directions. Sometimes, even if you are pointing in that way, it just doesn't lock on properly. So there is a huge problem with that and it doesn't feel nice to play. Going from that, rushing out then and using the new manual inputs with the X and B like I just touched on a few seconds ago. So around FIFA 14, 15, they had these inputs in the game, like I've spoke about in a previous video, where if you rush out, you press B or X, and if you press B, you make yourself big and you spread your legs out wide and your hands out wide and you kind of like jump but into like a sit down position and you spread all your limbs out wide to try and touch any part of the ball. So that is in the game, but they've also had it paired up with a different animation where your goalkeeper does like a Superman punch dive looking thing. And so when you're coming out and you want to do the spread yourself big for a one-on-one, you don't know what animation type you get in. It could be that one or it could be a different one. That's not good. You need to know every time you come out, you're going to be getting this dive and this animation. And it should only ever be the star dive where you come out big and strong and you spread your legs and arms. The other animation needs to go, but you get like a Russian roulette of which one you're going to get. So they bring a good input, save in, and then they top it with a bad animation involved in that. Don't know why they've done it, but they have. And then you got the X or the square where you can run out and smother the ball, where you slide on the side and gather the ball. Again, This does work a little bit better, but you do get some weird animations sometimes where your keeper will slide directly ahead of you, kind of like on your knees, and gather it front ways. And it's just an easy like side step and you can just walk it around you. So there is inputs there that I like, that I think that the game definitely needs, and it's the right direction. But the animations that you get in don't work, so they make it useless. I don't know why EA keep on doing stuff like this. I don't get it, but it is really bad. And then we got the dive on demand with the right bumper or R1 and the right stick, where you can hold RB and flick the right stick and you will dive on demand. You don't have to wait for a shot. This also is very delayed. It doesn't work. Yes, you dive on demand when you want it to, but again, it's like the shot gets prioritized over the save, and you can just feel it in the game, like there's some sort of delay there, and it's just not responsive enough. That was why Gamer messaging me about the forum that I've actually posted. So if you're watching this, thanks for jumping in my video, bro. But yeah, there's the dives just don't work, even with the demand one. It's a feature that is needed, especially for, like I said in previous videos again, that after you make a save, you can run back to your line, and if a shot is coming, you can do the demand saving, like dive into your net and kind of push it away. It doesn't work. This save is just useless. And with the shot power that people are having at level 75, you haven't got time to even react to this, because you've also got to get the direction right whilst doing this. And if you get it wrong, you will dive in the direction you got it wrong. So you will make a mistake. So it needs to be ironed out, this 100%. Because if you get it wrong or the game messes you up, you will be punished either way, because your goalkeeper will dive. For the shot stopper archetype, in the deep dive, it said the shot stopper plus signature that you get for the third play style will be the double save perk. On the game, it's not there. So again, they need to update that, and what they've said in the deep dive is not what's in the game. In Rush, the teams are kit clashed and it's both white teams, white kits. Again, huge problem. The camera pan, the manual camera pan as a goalkeeper, I like what they're trying to do with it, but it's not needed. In fact, it's more of a hindrance. When you're playing as a goalkeeper and you are holding auto position button, and then you try to move with your left stick, just because you forget maybe you're holding the auto position or something like that, your camera will start to pan left and right, depending on which way you try to move. Because to move the camera, you need to hold L1 or LB and then the left stick, and you can like pan it to the right side or the left side if you think there's somebody going to be arriving back post for a cross. Again, it's a nice feature, but it doesn't work. I would much rather EA have it as like an automatic feature where when somebody crosses the ball or they're in a certain area, maybe the camera pans out automatically so you get to see a wider view of the goal. That would be a much simpler feature to add in. I feel like it's less inputs and less stress for the goalkeepers to worry about that. Because at the minute, guys, you're holding L1 to auto position, or then you might be holding L1 to pan the camera. Then you're holding R1 or RB to make the demand save. There's a lot. And then you got to hold left trigger to do to get the boosts for the outside of the shot with the far reach saves. There's a lot of inputs that we have to do now as goalkeeper, on top of tracking players, seeing where the shot could potentially be going, looking at rebound opportunities. There's a lot that we have to think about now as a goalkeeper. So I would like that to be changed a little bit, and like I said, have it more of an automatic feature where once they're in a certain area of the final third, maybe the camera pans out and does like a bit more of a wider view. To me, that seems like a feature that could quite easily be put in the game. Movement and the auto position, I've spoken about that briefly about the auto position. But another touch to that is it's so aggressive. It's like it was a couple of years ago. Whenever they are attacking, your goalkeeper is bouncing left and right. Like it's telling you to go onto your line, then it's telling you to attack. It's so aggressive in terms of how it's moving you around. You don't have a clue where your positioning is because it's moving you around way too much. And again, your goalkeeper feels like you're stuck in the mud when you are trying to move around. It just, again, that's not down to your sprint speed, because when you make a goalkeeper, your acceleration starts at level 75, your movement and things. It's nothing to do with how your build is or anything like that. It's just the game. It feels sluggish. Now, you remember, guys, I've been playing goalkeeper since FIFA 11 as a goalkeeper, and it's never been this bad. I have played goalkeeper every single year since FIFA 11. I know what it should be like, and I know when it's bad. And right now, it's the worst. And I'm just letting you guys know that if you are getting it, expect it to be terrible unless they fix it in this beta or for the new game. And I do not have high hopes for EA to do that. I don't believe them anymore. Pro camera for goalkeeper still feels like it's on 30 FPS. even on PC, it feels really slow. It feels worse than FC25. It does something about it, just doesn't feel right. And I've had enough with it now. It's lie after lie with EA and promise after promise and a huge market ad that they published. Like I said, we've listened to your feedback. We've given you the gameplay that you want. Goalkeepers had a massive new overhaul. They did a huge campaign on it. And this is the shit we get. EA, you can ban me if you want. But you know that this is not acceptable. I shouldn't be talking about this and giving this to my community. I know that. But you guys need to take accountability on why I have to make a video like this. The game is £100 to buy if they get the ultimate version. It is not cheap. People spend their hard-earned cash to get this game, and we do not expect to get this shit when we play it. Luckily enough, some of us get the beta, and I'm lucky enough to have a little bit of a platform to showcase it to my community. I've made 2 posts on your EA forums page with what I've spoke about, and you've done a lot of changes that I wanted, but you've executed them terribly. You've given us this whole new overhaul. You spent all the money and time and effort and resources to do this overhaul, but yet you fail. Do you have anyone in your company to test your games? Or do you just code what you want to code and just go, fuck it? We're giving them whatever shit we make, because they're just going to take it and have it. And we'll just keep making excuses. We'll update it for the next year, update it for the next year. Competitive pro clubs will be gone if goalkeeper does not improve. It will no longer be competitive. We'll have to start playing with AI goalkeepers for it to even be somewhat competitive. You're going to have some keepers that may get pretty good at it and may have some really lucky good games, but it is so bad. The majority of the people are going to find it terrible, and you're going to have way less people wanting to play goalkeeper for compet because of how bad it is. It is way worse than last year and every other year previous. I would take FC25 over FC26 every single day of the year. You have ruined goalkeeper when you're supposed to be making it better. Get your shit together, EA.